All right, I got a few more shoulder things that I want to work with you today. So one of them is angels, and I showed you angels laying on the floor with a yoga mat rolled up in behind your shoulder blades and behind your head. So you can do that same movement of angels with your back against the wall. So you find a wall, okay? And with that, you might not be able to bring your heels into the wall. Your body might just not allow you to do that. So you can bring your heels, maybe an inch, 2 inches away from the wall. You are going to bring your feet into correct alignment. So that means the outside of the feet are almost parallel. So when you look down, your feet look like ones. You are going to bring your pelvis and bring it back to the wall. Okay? You want to make sure that you're not tucking the tailbone under or you're not spilling the belly forward. So the pubic bone, ASIS, are vertical of one another. And then you're going to bring your shoulders up against the wall. Okay, now in this, your head will also be against the wall. Okay, so you're going to bring your arms straight up and see if you can bring the back sides of your hands flat against the wall and take each fingernail, even the thumbnail, against the wall. Now, as you're doing that, your elbows might not be near the wall at all because you're just so tight in the front side of the body, and it might be actually hard for you to breathe here. So this might be where you're at, and you just hold here and breathe. Or maybe you start to work the elbows back a little bit, so elbows bend just a little bit, and now come here. Now as you do this, as you hold here, I want you to pay particular attention to your ribs, because what can happen here is they can start to jaunt forward. So your ribs, the lower ribs, should be in alignment with your hip bone. So if I take my arms up and I start to jaunt my ribs forward, it's not such as intense of a stretch. So I'm going to bring my ribs back a little bit, keep them in alignment with the body, and I'm going to hold. So you can do a hold here. You can again bend the elbows a little bit, try to take the elbows into the wall so that they're touching, or you can do the angels. So the angels would just be to start to bend and come up. And the whole time that you're moving here, you're trying to keep the fingernails and the back side of your wrist against the wall. A lot of times what will happen is the wrist will be away from the wall as you move. So try to see if you can keep the back side of the wrist in contact with the wall. And then continue to watch what's happening with the ribs, because the ribs will start to stick out again. If your body is like, this is a little bit too intense, I'm going to try to bypass the intensity of it. And it'll shift the ribs to do that. Okay, so that's one of the standing shoulder openers I have for you. Another one is great to do against a wall or to use a door frame. And what you're going to do is you're going to take one hand behind you and you're going to point those fingers away. From here, you're going to start to take your torso, upper body, and you're going to turn the opposite direction. Now, when you make that turn, try to stay in as best alignment as possible. And the key here is to watch the head, because a lot of times the head will jaunt forward. So bring the head back and ears in alignment with the shoulders. So you can come into this stretch and just hold and breathe, or you can come into the stretch and kind of walk out of it and then walk a little bit deeper into it and kind of release, come back into a little bit more of dynamic stretching. And then you're going to move the hand up to like a 45-degree angle. Do the same thing. You can hold, or you can flow back and forth to hands straight behind you, and then maybe the 45. Good. And then the next one is hands straight up and walking the opposite direction. Making sure you're breathing here, because it's really easy to hold and constrict the breath. And release. So you could do all three. You can have hand back here, turn in, arm up, turn in, all the way up, turn in. Now I want to come back to the hand straight behind you. So as I turned in, can you kind of see how I stick my butt out a little bit? So again, make sure that pubic bone is slid forward, so your hip bone, pubic bones are in alignment as you flow through this. All right, and then again, you would switch to the other side. So start to bring those two shoulder movements into your repertoire as well.